Cats are known for being extremely agile creatures. Scientific research has shown that if you push a cat off of a fence, it'll spin itself in midair and almost always land on its 4 feet. Now, before your mind starts wandering on that particular subject, I just want to let you know I do not go around pushing cats off of fences, just in case you're thinking that. However, I have pushed quite a few household cats off of our kitchen cupboard. And believe me, they're not so agile when they go flying. And speaking of kitchen cupboards, a piece of toast has just freshly come out of the toaster, and it goes flying through to the air onto the kitchen floor. Not so agile at all. Madam Contest Chair, honorable judges, fellow contestants, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. I'm not suggesting that toast has feet and that they should be landing on those feet. That would be just plain stupid. And toast is really stupid. Now consider this scenario. Your toast has just popped out. You put your butter or your margarine, you spread it with a knife onto your toast. And then you spread it with your favorite condiment, jam, peanut butter, jelly, fluffle, whatever is your favorite. And then all of a sudden, inadvertently, the sleeve catches the corner of the toast and your toast goes airborne, right onto the floor. Now, when you look down, what do you invariably see? The toast. Good side up, good side down. It's almost always good side down. Exactly. But this is an amazing thing that happens. Your brain is so powerful. 2 different events take place at the speed of lightning. The first thing is you look down, you see it, you automatically utter something like, oh, fiddlesticks. Secondary, and like I said, the speed of lightning, this is deep inside your brain. This is where your reptilian brain kicks in. And it only has one question that it wants to know. Can I eat it? That's all it wants to know. Well, I would suggest you start the countdown. Anybody heard of the 5, 10, 15 second rule for food on the floor? Start it ticking. Not so much that it's a problem, but because toast gets cold. If you're lucky and you look down and your peanut butter is staring you in the face, scoop her up and eat it. There's no problem at all. Just go for it. However, if it's the good side down, you may want to pass on it. Just pick it up, throw it in the garbage. It's metaphorically and figuratively speaking, it's toast. Just get rid of it. And don't even worry about cleaning the floor up. That's where dogs come in. They'll lick that up. Now, I don't know where I originally learned the rules about recovering lost food. I think it might have been one of those parental things where fathers pass it down to son, just like how to work the barbecue. I'm not too sure. I think that might have been it. But I know for sure that there is a connection between rescuing food and the Canada's Food Guide. Anybody familiar with the Canada's Food Guide? Well, there's a series of classifications in there. And I'll try to go through a few of them. One is the meat. Everybody knows the meat category. Well, if you drop some meat down below, 2 different rules come into play, and you have to be prepared for both of them. One of them, it really matters, are you inside, in the house, or you're outside? Let's start off with outside. Here's the scenario. Family get together. You're out working the barbecue. You are the designated barbecuist. You've got hamburgers and wieners sizzling away on the barbecue. And one of those wieners decides to go on a walkabout. It jumps up and it jumps onto the deck. So what happens? Immediately, you start the countdown. 1 steamboat, 2 steamboat. You're counting the seconds. But the other part of your brain is, your first thing you do is you look around. Did anybody see it fall? And that's important. Because if somebody did see it fall, if nobody saw it fall, then what you do is you reach over, you scoop that wayward weenie up, throw it back under the barbecue, and then you mix it up with your tongue so nobody actually knows where it was. Yeah. And then no problems. They're good to eat. That's, the rain washes all the dust down, so there's absolutely no problem. Now what happens when you made that precursory look to see if anybody was watching you? And somebody was. Well, a little bit modification is what you need. You still do the same thing. You reach over with your tongs, you grab that wayward weenie, and you make some kind of a comment, hey, get back here, where the heck do you think you're going? And you put it on, there's a little shelf on the barbecue, just put it there. Just leave it there. Then keep on cooking the other ones. Keep a sly look at what's going on. And when you notice that person no longer sees, scoop it up, put it back into the barbecue, and move it around again. That's the way you handle that. No problem. But what if the food falls, specifically the meat, if it falls when you're in the house? What do you do then? Once again, it's two sets of rules. It really depends if you're in a kitchen or perhaps a living room, because they have different environments. Kitchens usually have a vinyl flooring or perhaps a tile flooring. And that makes a difference, because if something drops on the floor there on a hard surface, you can just pick it up, especially if you got pets, you can just blow it off, or if it's perhaps a little on the fuzzy side, you can put it under a tap, throw it back on the frying pan, and cook it up that way. So that's easy enough in the kitchen. Living room gives you a different scenario. Quite often you have broadloom, carpet. So when you scoop it up quickly, you look at it. If you see fur on it, you might not want to eat it. If it's only just carpet fibers, don't worry about it. Fiber's good for your diet. One of the other food groups that's really important to know about, and some people argue that it's not a food group, is chocolate. Here's the scenario. You're driving along in your car. You got a big sack of chocolate-covered almonds. And you're almost down to the very last one. And one of them falls in between the seats. Well, in the old days, you would just drive along, you would reach over, you distort yourself, your body contortions, trying to grab that little piece, that wayward chocolate-covered almond. But nowadays, with the distracted driving rules, for the cost of a ticket, a fine, you may not want to do, you can buy an awful lot of chocolate. But the way to handle that, what you do is, you pull over as soon as you can. Go to a parking lot. And if you see an empty spot, try and find a spot to pull into that has an empty spot here and on either side of you. That way you can pull out your seats right in the parking lot there. And if you find your chocolate, it's heavenly. It's like finding a buried treasure. That one treat that you find can be just as tasteful as any of the other ones combined. So it's definitely worthwhile doing. And if you find something like a chicken McNugget, and it's a little furry, and you don't remember eating it, doesn't really all solve the problem, because it's a different kind of fur. You might want to pass on that one. Now there's one last group that I want to share with you, and this is the vegetable group, that you have to be really careful with. You have to be really careful with this one. You're cooking supper, you're cooking some kale. Kale falls onto the floor. Immediately step away from it. It's not rescuable. Kale, you have to get somebody to come in, pick it up, throw it in the garbage. And probably be on the safe side. You probably shouldn't have any kale for the next 30 days, just in case there's any untoward effects. I'm not sure if the same rules apply in anybody else's house. I think it's something to think about. In our next lesson, we look at ways to reduce your dining out budget. How to steal food off of somebody else's table. What works? What doesn't work? Mental contest chair. Oops, again.